Okay, moving on to the optional components of a CV, we'll start with skills. Now, the first question we want to answer is, where do we put skills on the CV? The first option is to put your skills in the work experience section of the CV. So you're discreetly mentioning what you're good at whilst describing your work experience at the same time. Another option is to place your skills in a dedicated section, which would follow your qualifications or education section. A third option is to do both. So you describe what you're good at in your work experience section, and you'd also include a dedicated skill section after your qualifications. Here are a few examples of skills that you could include in your CV. Skills fall into two categories generally. There are soft skills and hard or technical skills. Soft skills can also be thought of as people skills or general skills. They are skills that are not specific for any particular job. And these include time management, communication, leadership. Whereas hard skills or technical skills are skills that are required for a particular job, for example, engineering or computer software. So, in this example, computer skills, this may be required if you are going to work as a graphic designer. In the guide on how to write a CV, you'll find useful tips and strategies for writing your skills section. Here's an example of what a skills section might look like on a CV. And as you can see, you'd usually add each skill as a bullet point. Now, there are other optional components that you can add in your CV, such as achievements and your hobbies or interests. Let's speak about achievements first. So, you can include your achievements in the work experience section, like you did with your skills, or you can have achievements as a dedicated section. If you're going to have them in a dedicated section, then place this section after skills. When you're writing your achievements, you can write them as bullet points, like you did with the skills. And be sure to include professional achievements only, ones that are related to the job that you're applying for. It's recommended to include hobbies and interests because it's good for the employer to know a bit about your character. You can write these as bullet points, but don't write more than a few hobbies. If possible, add why this hobby makes you more employable and list them in order of relevance to the job. Start with a verb but exclude pronouns. For example, compete in races across the UK, or you can say learning a language. Lastly, let's speak about references. So, a bit of advice, do not add references into your CV unless you have been asked to, because generally references are not required early on in the recruitment process. And because it gives you more options, you may wish to use a different referee later on. And because you want to keep your CV minimal. You don't want too much information at this stage. You want just enough to get the recruiter or the employer's attention. As I've said before, there is reading material in this module, How to Write Your CV. So do have a look at that. Get some useful tips and strategies on writing essential and optional components of a CV.